Hello and welcome to another installment of the Science of Football Fantasy Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. This week brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper, the only fantasy football app made for fans by fans, and also our good friends at StreamYard for upgrading us for free. They've given us the platinum tier, so you expect some higher quality. This is the show where we take a look into the details going on in this league because we all know our commissioner won't. I'm here with my co-host, as usual, Mr. RJ Wagner. RJ, how are you doing?
Shout out to Monty for this football-shaped ice cube.
Uh-oh.
Shout out to Total Wine for bourbon that I'll be sipping on as I prepare to wear the cum. Yeah, Ted, I'll be completely honest. This weekend I went through all the emotions. I was angry with my team, sad, disappointed. But you know what I started telling myself? Pressure makes diamonds. You know that 5 injuries on or before week 1, but you have to look at the bright side. At least it wasn't 6. However, if Joe Burrow did get hurt before week 1, I might have actually won this week. Mistakes were made having the Bengals defense, kicker, and QB for sure, considering they lost to the Patriots. But, hats off to Jordan Mason for keeping it close. Really wasn't expecting anything going into that Monday night game. Gave me a little bit of hope, and I was glad to keep that hope, hoping to keep that hope going into week 2. So, yeah, that's how I'm doing. Cheers. I hate bourbon, too. So this is why I'm doing this. Instead of doing shots, I would rather do shots of vodka than sip on bourbon because I just don't think I deserve the vodka right now.
That's rough. That's rough. And we've also got today our special guest, someone who said to the whole league, put your money where your mouth is. And here we have the Beaver Muncher himself. Trevor, our commissioner.
What's up, fellas?
Glad to have you, Trev.
Cheers, Teddy. 1-0.
Cheers, 1-0.
Cheers to you too, RJ.
You can't cheers to that. Trev, that's a nice hat you got there.
Thank you. Feeling like daddy today on this fine Tuesday.
Oh. It seems my co-host just ran off. But I could say I think it was a good week 1. We had a lot of close games. A lot of stuff to get into. It seems, the league is getting into different tiers. But I want to remember last year, our first podcast, there were a lot of overreactions. So I just want to preface that coming into this week 1. All the offenses are getting together, but maybe I'm just saying that because my team did pretty doo-doo caca. But at least it did better than RJ's. So why don't we get into the week 1 recap?
We got a lot of football left.
And Trevor, why don't we start with your matchup against Kyle? Everyone was calling your team the worst in the league. They said your draft was terrible. But look, you won 119-99. You beat Kyle. Lamar, A-Chain, the Vikings D gave you like 80 points by themselves. I will say Zamir White had 3.6 points. Who could have seen that coming? And then for Kyle, flashbacks for him because he had a lot of star players, but no one really produced. Patrick Mahomes was like Josh Allen. He only had 14. I guess bright spots, Jahmyr Gibbs, Nico Collins are looking good. But if I'm Kyle, I'm having flashbacks to last year. We'll see what he does. RJ, what did you think of this matchup?
Truff came in with a nice win. What did the sportsbook have for this line? Was it? It was a pick'em, wasn't it? It was a pick'em. Okay, so the sportsbooks, I feel like the public was all on, and according to the bets, actually 100% of the bets were on for this game. Were on Kyle Riley Reed option to win the game. Teddy, you did mention this one stat. I do want to focus on not only this matchup, but all season long. I think that would be interesting is sort of no offense to you, Trevor. And I don't mean to make this sound because you're the manager. So you set this up, and this is in no way like a statistic that's supposed to bash the manager. It's the luck statistic. And I want to see how much the percentage of points scored from kicker and defense correlates to their wins and how well they do in the playoffs. And I'm saying this because I'm clarifying it's not a dig, because I remember specifically you getting Brandon Audrey like round, I don't know, earlier than what I was expecting. I was like, that was pushing it. And then he just went nuclear. So for this matchup,
nuclear.
Yeah, no, that was huge.
Trevor had 34.4% of his 119 points come from those two positions. And I didn't actually include Kyle's, but I included Kevin's because I think Kevin has a really good team. And Kevin only scored 3 less points than you, but only had 11% of his points. With
Kyle's was about 25%.
Okay,
really isn't that low.
Yeah, so that my hypothesis of that would be the higher percentage of their points come with those two struggle more in the postseason. Just meaning more what is it? Less variance, I guess, when you score
sustainability
more positions. Yeah, but regardless, Lamar, great start for the week. Obviously, we talked about the defenses went nuclear. Loved Achane's
nuclear
9-5. But he did end the game with an injury, and he is on the injury report. That is something to look out for, especially and with also having Raheem Mostert. I don't think it's supposed to be a big deal, but that is something to look at. Kyle, just like me and you, Ted, weren't able to break the 100 mark.
Nope.
Another tight end, I think Kevin mentioned this in the group chat, who just you had hopes for. All tight ends really fell short, 30 yards. James Cook, though, I did love his game, having 12 points, but not ever getting into the end zone. Like he was the workhorse back there in the backfield. But one interesting stat I did see was that Josh Allen had more red zone carries than James Cook. So that taking that away from him would definitely be frustrating. So that's what I got. Trev, what do you think about your matchup, your game, your win?
Yeah, no, you make a good point about the kicker and defense. I mean, they kind of carried me this week. With what percentage did you say my points was those two?
34.4%.
That's going to be helpful if that continues. But yeah, I took Brandon Aubrey in the 13th round, I think, the second kicker off the board after Justin Tucker, and there wasn't another kicker taken like for another 2 rounds. So that was early for him, but he showed out. There were a few kickers this week that had big weeks. I think Moody last night had like 27 or something.
Yeah. And so did Boswell.
Yeah, Boswell had big weeks.
He had 18 points.
Yeah, he had 3 50-yarders.
Few kickers putting up numbers, which just shows how it really is all luck. If they're hitting 50-yarders and can get you those extra points, pretty much like a touchdown. But yeah, happy to get the win. Definitely feels different this week, starting on the podcast 1-0 than last year as 0-1. And
feels good.
Took me, I think, till week 5 last year to get a win. So it's nice to get a win early here. But I still hate my team. So I still absolutely hate my team. I think it's the worst draft I've ever had. So
now you're saying it.
So I'll take the wins early. But yeah, like I said, it took me till week 5 to get a win last year. So it's good to start off with one. But especially, Zamir White, that was obviously extremely disappointing to see that he had maybe, 3 points. I know he did have a fumble, but, I almost did the same exact draft strategy as last year. I was looking at the draft board last year and looking at my picks this year, and almost every round was the same position. Just like I took Zamir White, a guy who used to be a backup who was going to be in a starting role. It reminded me so much of Alexander Madison. Same thing I had last year. And Now,
Wait,
actually, Zamir White
He
is
took
losing.
all his carries on
I'm going to
Thursday.
say, he had a touchdown, did he not?
He did.
He had a 34-yard touchdown.
He had a receiving touchdown. Yep.
Oh, that's
So I think I'm going to not make the same mistake as last year and just keep putting Alexander Madison in my lineup. I'm going to take Zamir White out this week. So we'll see how that goes. But as long as I can keep getting some wins here before hopefully Nick Chubb comes back somewhat soon after he's out for those first 4 weeks, he can be my RB2. But yeah, I'm not loving my team, so I'll take the wins when I can get them. I'm actually looking at my notes that I had from the draft night last weekend, and I just stopped taking notes after like the third round. So like I've stopped using any strategy and was just taking guys off the board, whoever I saw. So don't love my team, but if we can keep getting wins, we'll be all right. So.
All right, moving on to the next matchup. This one was a beatdown. Jack beat Monty 135 to 101. Monty had some high highs. He had Hurts, James Conner, AJ Brown giving him 20 points, but the rest of his team, like Maserati Marvin, Sam Laporta, Young Hoku just cucking him. He had the Jets D. That one was a little questionable, but his team was really people at the top and people at the bottom, and he just didn't have enough of the middle ground to really take him anywhere. He didn't have enough solid players. And then Jack's team, I hate to say it, boy, does it look good. Anthony Richardson, 30 points. Whew, it's looking pretty good. Cooper Kupp, 25. Kamey Fairbairn, 17. His team's looking pretty good. RJ, what do you have to say about this one?
This is what I got. The sports book could not have been more wrong on Bed Bath and Beyond. If only the public caught on, because when his lineup wasn't set early on, the sports book, they were in shambles. They didn't know what to do, and I truly think Bed Bath and Beyond is right up there with put it all in my Butker. You know, especially with Puka on the IR. I mean, Cooper Kupp he's a number one receiver, like a 1-1 type of receiver.
Without a doubt.
I love the weapons they have. Management there, I think, is still a little questionable. Early on, I mean, it's easy me saying it now, seeing the stats, but early on, I was a little confused why he would put the Dolphins backup running back instead of Mike Evans or Ramondre Stevenson. But he was still the highest scorer regardless. But that just shows the depth that he also has on his bench. It's actually insane. Bijan had 23 of the Falcons' 26 backfield opportunities. That is a number that he only hit twice all of last year. And hitting that in week one is huge, showing that he will be the bell cow there. No more Tyler Algier. But, you know, I'm not panicking right now for Banks. But he is right down there with the bottom with me. Arv scares me, especially, you know, with how high of the draft pick he was. He only had 9.6% of the target share for his team, which finished 9th of all rookie receivers. 9th of all rookie receivers with target share. Pretty much every other rookie receiver had a higher target share on their team. I mean, Greg Dortch on the team saw 26% of the target share. That's insane.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. The Jets and Breece Hall scare me long term. You know, granted, they did play the Niners, so you can't put it all on one, especially with Chase Fisher at the helm over there, you know, doing a good job managing that team. Getting a FaceTime call from my dad right now. Dad, what do you think about Marvin Harrison? 9.6% target share compared to Greg Dortch's 26%.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't watching the game. Maybe that guy was open. I don't know. What do you think about it?
All right, sounds good. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Oh, you on the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I need to watch the film.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
That's the film. Thanks, Bob.
So, yeah, Breece Hall scares me long term. I mean, they're going to feed him the rock, but that team looked with Aaron Rodgers as bad as they did without. I was so high on Sam Laporta, like we already talked about, tight ends only getting 45 yards, not what you want to see out of a third-round pick. Him in the Marvin 2-3 round doesn't look good, but what am I saying? My first and second round pick, first is hurt and my second's on the IR, so fuck me.
Mm-hmm.
Trev, what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jack got a big win, got his revenge from the championship last year. I think he's going to have the AR experience this year. I mean, it looks like it was a good pick right now. I believe it looks like he got him in round 10. So one of the last rounds or one of the last picks to get a quarterback. Looks like it's going to pay out so far. We'll see how that continues. But I think the biggest difference for Jack's team this year is going to be Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
Watched much of that Sunday night game, but holy moly, Cooper Kupp is back. He was getting about almost every target given to him, especially now with Puka, who's going to be out. He's going to feel like he's just going to even get more receptions, more targets.
Oh, yeah.
Jack got him in the 4th round. And Jack's really going to be benefiting from these injuries here with Cooper Kupp and Puka hurt. And now he's got Debo with who knows if McCaffrey's going to miss time and Debo's going to keep getting those rushing attempts too on top of targets. So Jack's just going to be benefiting from your injuries, RJ. But I was a little worried that Jack wasn't going to change his team name, but he got Bed Bath and Bijan right in there before any of his players played. So I guess the fantasy gods gave
It's illegal. It's legal.
benefit of the doubt there and got him in before any of his players got in, so they didn't give him the loss this week. But yeah, I think he'll have a decent team. I think Monty's team will be decent too. I mean, these were our 2 powerhouses from last year, so real interesting matchup. But we'll see how it goes as the season continues. So.
Jack did text me for just verification. He said, "Do you like my team name?" Just to make sure that other people were in support of Bed Bath and Bijan. So
I think it's very fitting.
I would talk to him on the pod right now, but I just know he's not going to listen because he has Kyler on his bench. I'm looking for a quarterback. We could talk about some early trades, especially with how good his team is. I have some injured guys that he could put on the bench for now, let him sit, heal up, and be able to plug him in. But I might be gifting that man a championship if I do that. So,
well, let's move on to the next matchup. We had Kevin beat Chase 116-107. Josh Allen and Saquon truly nuclear. But those two really saved Kevin because he had 5 players in single digits. 3 players scored under 3 points. So honestly, if I'm Kevin, I'm not really feeling as good as he was shooting away in the group me. Boy, do I love to hate Kevin because I see those texts. It really pisses me off. But Kevin was really saved by Josh Allen and Saquon. If they had just average performances, his team would have done doo-doo caca. And then Chase's team, he had the opposite. He had way too many guys just doing average. I mean, CJ Stroud at the top, Stephon Diggs, that's going to be a great stat going forward. But those is your top performers only getting 18, 22. Just wasn't enough. A lot of people in that 8 to 12 point range. If I'm Chase, I'm not freaking out, but I'm trying to get some playmakers going forward.
I got that, Ted. Yeah. Chase's team, Loud and Stroud, they're a lot like Allen Gamble and the other guys. You know how he says, just 9 million socially conscious New York citizens just doing their part. He just had 9 socially conscious fantasy football players just doing their part, and it wasn't enough. You do have to have those guys going above and Bijan, not just doing their socially conscious parts.
Not just Bed Bath and down the hall. They need to be Bed Bath and Bijan.
Lay the fuck out there.
Like Bed Bath and Bijan.
But like we already mentioned, not going to beat the dead horse, but tight ends were fucking terrible. No exception for this game. While Kevin did get the win, I would be grossly disappointed. I can't, for some reason, get fantasy working right now. Like, I can't click between the games, so I'll just go off my notes. 28 points or total points were receiving yards from his two guys in the receiving position.
Yeah.
39 if you want to throw in the tight end as well. And Drake London saw 13% target share from the Falcons, who this was supposed to be his team now. Like, this was his year, him and Kyle Pitts. Like, they were going to throw with Kirk Cousins. He only saw 13% target share, which was the third lowest he's seen in over a year. Like, that, it definitely rings alarm bells, and it makes you realize, like, what was he thinking drafting him that early? Like, the hype was so high, and that's exactly what I did with Puka, and thinking about the calf and Achilles injury with CMC. I shouldn't have drafted him 1-1. I should have drafted Brandon Audrey 1-1, to be completely honest.
Much better.
But anyways, Waddle, he went off going up for over 100. And obviously you can't go without talking about Saquon, the 3 touchdowns Thursday night. God, that had to feel good. And he looked so dangerous. He looked like a consensus 1-1 for next year, just through round 1 or week 1. Yeah, but definitely alarm bells should be ringing for both teams, I think. Trev?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I think alarm bells could be sounded for about everybody. I mean, this week kind of had some surprises for each team, but I still think Kevin is up there for sure the best team. I mean, the two-headed monster of Josh Allen and Saquon. Like, I wish I had gotten a future in on Kevin for to win the championship, because this seems like it could be the year. But we'll see. I mean, even with Amon-Ra only getting 2 points, still got the win, and we know that's not going to continue. So
yeah,
if I was Kevin, I'd be saying this is my year for sure. So
I thought Amon-Ra would be the most, like, the safest first round pick, because that offense didn't really change. So to see him get that was really shocking, but I could not imagine that staying true.
Yeah. Even with Amon-Ra with 2 points, he takes down Chase, who we all know is a week 1 savant. Always wins that week 1 matchup. So Chase starting 0-1 feels pretty rare. But yeah, like we talked about with the tight end position, I mean, that's crazy just how many tight ends did poorly. We'll see if that continues, but maybe time for that tight end premium. You know what I'm saying?
After week 6.
We've been talking about it.
After week 6, 2-point PPR.
Yes, sir. But yeah, like you said with Chase, just a lot of average numbers out there. So hopefully that continues in whoever he's playing in week 2.
Oh, a little tease for the preview, but not before we get there. We've got a podcast matchup. I beat RJ 9-7-91, the lowest scoring match of the season so far, which is saying a lot. For me, really, Tyreek really saved my day. Alvin Kamara really. Yeah, he got arrested, came out. Did you watch the video? I just want to have a few words for the Miami police. Keep firing him up. Keep getting him upset. Pull him over next week.
I sent my dad the video of the body cam, and he goes, well, why wouldn't he just roll down the damn window? Well, my dad's on the policeman's side.
When did you get him back on FaceTime?
You might need to FaceTime and ask him about that situation, because that was my thought too. Is why did he roll up his window? They were telling him to roll his window down, and he had his window up.
He already handed him the ID. Where would he be going? You realize it's Tyreek Hill. What's he going to do? Pull out a gun and shoot you, and then head to his 1 p.m. start? Come on.
Maybe the officers aren't football fans.
Yeah. Have you looked at his LinkedIn? I saw that got tweeted out too. His LinkedIn banner picture. It says Bills Mafia. I don't know if that was fake, but I thought that was hilarious.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the whole video yet. I've just seen clips, but they did seem to go a little too far beyond. But fired Tyreek up and helped out Ted there.
Exactly.
Helped out the gold medal.
Need to keep that going. And now I think RJ is trying to distract everyone from getting to talking about his team. His team had a lot of lows. Joe Burrow with 8 points. I'm not even talking about injuries so far. Devonta Smith only with 12. Njoku with 6. I mean, his highest score.
I was happy with Devonta Smith 12.
I mean.
But keep going. Keep going.
I mean, his highest score was a backup that he plugged in late on Monday. Defense and kicker only 8 points, but not volatile. But I wouldn't say a great showing. Your bench looked great. Joe Mixon, Chris Godwin, David Montgomery, still some bright points, but they were on the bench. So what can you do?
Yep. Well, it all started Thursday night, Ted, when you texted me, congrats on starting 1-0.
Oh, no. The reverse jinx are already starting.
The first reverse jinx.
So I'm glad that you started 1-0 and you already took yourself out of the possibility of winning the championship by doing that. We all know how sending that text, you're not going to win the championship. Even though Monty literally did that to me twice last year and won the championship. It can't happen again. So I thought that was disrespectful. Teddy, you claim being Catholic, but I truly think that you sold your soul to the fantasy gods, sort of like Lil Nas X sold his soul to the devil. It's very similar. I think it's 1A, 1B what you've done. So I hope you're proud of yourself. Set up your appointment to go to confession and reap what you've done. But yeah, no, Teddy, neither of our teams looked very good. Except for Tyreek, obviously, after getting arrested for grand larceny. Again, super proud of my running backs. But kicker, defense, quarterback, Bengals, fuck them all. Mm-hmm. We were saying pooper fuck last year, more like pooper Nakua. Just, going on the IR now. I've seen stuff saying that it'll be gone till week 6, 7, 8 even. Njoku now hurt. I've heard he's out till week 3, and I don't even know. I'll probably have to drop him. And I already looked at tight ends, and I was like, I don't like anyone, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Again, wait, do you have the 2 tight ends? Do you have Kyle Pitts?
I got Kyle Pitts, the number 3 tight end,
and Evan Ingram.
No, Travis Kelce.
Oh yeah, so I knew there were 2 or 3 teams that had 2 tight ends that were fairly decent. I might look at doing a little bench
overreaction trading.
Overreaction? Teddy, I won't be able to plug in a tight end. Talk about an overreaction. Even though you're right, who needs a tight end if they're going to perform like this week? I might as well not put any of them in. But also, like you kind of mentioned, I'm very happy with my bench. I put Joe Mixon on my bench because just weren't sure about the workload with that air raid offense. 30 carries, insane. Loved it. But like I already mentioned, I'm willing to look at shopping maybe a running back or one of my wide receivers for a quarterback, tight end. If you want one of my injured players, Jack, I know you're not listening, but your team looks really good. You're going to make the playoffs. Let's start looking to the long term already, even though you're
going to make the playoffs.
Week 1, already talking trades. I love it.
So yeah, I'm ready to trade whenever. Ted,
check out that trading block
to the fantasy gods. I hope you're happy. You got that 1-0.
Cheers. Yeah,
I think that was
the news of CMC was crazy. I didn't expect that. If only Chase would have been a nice inside information guy and giving you that heads up. But still, a great start with Jordan Mason.
That made me think yesterday. I was like, do you think Chase was just sitting? Like Chase never. We talked about who he'd pick 1-1. Everyone. Mm-hmm. I never heard Chase say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Chase literally sat there in the back,
Chase knew the
fucking
whole
around.
time.
He knew the whole time about this injury. He knew what was going to happen. Chase, I can't wait till your 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks get taken away because Jordan Mason spoiled it.
I think Jordan Mason was talking about that Friday before our draft is when he knew he was starting. Chase knew that, and that's why he didn't say anything about McCaffrey.
Shanahan texted Chase and said, hey, inform Jordan Mason that he's the one starting. Chase knew Thursday night and informed Jordan Mason that Friday.
Chase texted Jordan Mason during our draft.
Yeah.
He was bringing it up.
RJ just took CMC 1-1, LOL.
I'm surprised Chase didn't draft Jordan Mason.
Could you imagine Chase takes Jordan Mason at the end?
That would have been crazy.
That would have been crazy. But yeah, the curse of the 1-1. I had it the 2 years before, Justin Jefferson and Jonathan Taylor. So hopefully it doesn't continue for you with CMC. But the 1-1 pick is scary. But yeah, the only other notes I had from this one between you guys was the Tyreek arrest, no problem. Just keep firing up for Ted. And then Joe Burrow, I saw he's on the free agents now, huh?
Yeah, he's gone.
Done.
We'll talk about that in the previews.
All right. I will just say he was my quarterback last year. In week 1, he had 3.18 points. So he did a little bit better.
Oh, my God, he almost tripled that.
He did a little bit better in week 1 this year. But Joe Burrow and the Bengals struggling in week 1. I think they lost to the Browns. I think I looked it up. It was 24-3 last year. So week 1, not a good spot to put in those Bengals. But he did have 19 in week 2. Joe Burrow did. So
I don't give a shit.
Fuck him.
You can do that on my bench. We're the Bake Show down here in Tampa Bay. That from here on out.
Old Bake.
Well, that was an excellent recap. We are going to give a quick word from our sponsor, but we will be right back with next week's preview.
The Lethal Tigreal FF Hybrid is built for versatility and premium comfort. The hybrid stud configuration combines screw-in and molded studs for ultimate traction in all playing conditions. While the intuitive HG 10mm technology raises the heel, actively working to reduce strain on your legs. Elevate your performance. ASICS Lethal Tigreal FF Hybrid.
Welcome back. Thank you to our sponsors. We've got the week 2 preview coming up, but before we get there, we have a quick word from our favorite sportsbook, the sportsbook we love, the sportsbook that makes us all a ton of money. RJ, as the affiliate with them, go ahead.
As we begin the preview of week 2 of the 2024 ZFFFL, I must remind you of our great sponsorship over at our ZFFFL ASICS Sportsbook, ASICS Footwear. The brand new gel Kinsey Max trainer takes the experience of running on clouds to the next level. It's been redesigned for runners who want every step to feel like it's oozing with softness. The tool is modified with our FF Blast Plus Eco Cushioning for the midsole's top layer. This helps provide cloud-like comfort while creating an energized feel at toe off. Don't forget the engineered mesh upper portion to help improve airflow and keep your feet feeling cool, along with the reflective details to allow you to run safely in all conditions. ASICS, a sound mind is a sound body. Deja vu, anyone? No?
Deja vu. I'm loving it.
Love our ASICS partner.
Love our 8x6 partner. And as we get started, unless you guys have anything more, go ahead with the first game. We've got Monty versus RJ. They're both 0-1. I'm calling this the get-back game of the week because 0-2 is a big hole to fall into, and 1-1 is a lot of possibility. For this one, Monty needs to have his guys go nuclear. I'm thinking Marvin Harrison Jr. and Amon-Ra are the guys that he needs in this one. Jalen Hurts, Breece Hall, Laporta, Rashee Rice. I'm thinking they'll get back to it, but he needs some nuclear potential. And then RJ, I'm thinking for your team, you need your team to, number 1, stay healthy. And number 2, just perform like we've seen your players perform. ETN, Walker, Joe Mixon, all looking solid. T. Higgins, I don't know if you'll play him again. Devonta Smith, not sure what you're going to do at tight end. You got a lot of possibilities. What's you in the sportsbook thinking about this one?
Yeah, Ted, personally for me, I have absolutely no clue still what I'm going to do at tight end, quarterback, kicker, defense, wide receiver, running back, pretty much literally every single position on our fantasy league. I have dropped quarterback Joe Burrow. I've dropped my kicker, dropped my defense for Boswell Chiefs and the Bake Show. Running back, who knows if Christian McCaffrey is going to play. If Christian McCaffrey is not playing, I think this might be the first time in a long time that we've had, at least for me, the the projections are less than 100 points. If Christian McCaffrey doesn't play right now my projection is 102. That is insanely low. I put Christian McCaffrey in solely for that reason, because he was out and my projections was like 95, 96 points. That is so low and so bad. So I really don't know what I'm going to do. But in Trevor's terms, I've sort of like you said, I feel like this game is a must win for me and a can't lose for Monty. I know Trevor loves saying those two terms. Monty has 3 Monday night players, which I feel like I'm going against every single Monday night player every single week, especially with Monty. Last year needing, 12 points from Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and only getting 11 point whatever. I feel like it's going to be another one of those situations. The sportsbook loves Binky.
Binky.
A much more overall healthy lineup. Right now it's coming in with Binky -5.5 at -120.
Wow. That's a stinky line.
Money line -140 for me, -115. So
Trev, who are you taking with that? -5.5.
With the injuries of Ass ETN season, I gotta go back to Bink a lot. So I think with the injuries on Ass ETN, I'm thinking Monty pulls out on this one, Mr. Bink himself. So, but I did notice that Monty does not have Maserati Marv in his starting lineup for this early Tuesday projection. Taking Maserati out. See if we can taking him out of the starting lineup. But
what is that? Second round pick? Third round pick? When did he get him?
Let's see here, the draft board. Monty got Maserati in round 3.
When did he get Laporta? 4 then?
Laporta was in.
And it was Breece and A.J. Brown, 1, 2?
Yeah. Laporta round 4. So right now, Maserati out of the starting lineup. Like you said, this is the must-win, can't-lose matchup. I'm calling it the oh-no matchup, because one of these two teams is going to start 0-2, and that is a hole you do not want to be in. Not ideal. So,
I like being in a lot of holes.
Yep. ACTN.
Not that one.
ACTN season. So this is going to be a huge matchup. Someone's going to start 0-2. Someone's going to bounce back 1-1. But with that sportsbook line, I think I'm going to take the back to Bink a lot. So,
well, now we've got the next matchup. This is the Snickers David versus Goliath matchup. Me versus Jack.
Wait, you got a new sponsor? I didn't know this. We got a new sponsor?
We've had a lot of talks with sponsorship committees.
I knew we were in talks with Snickers. I didn't know we stamped a deal.
Well, we didn't, but I'm just hoping to get the ball rolling.
Okay, yeah. You're not you when you're hungry.
Hoping to get the ball rolling. Yeah. So this is the Snickers David versus Goliath matchup. I'm looking at Jack's team. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Anthony Richardson has the Colts rolling on the offense. Who cares about the defense? Honestly, Jack probably wants the Colts defense to do bad just so Anthony Richardson can get him out of holes. He's got Kupp. He's got Debo. Ramondre Stevenson was looking good. His team looks good. And my team, I just need the old fellas to go back to the glory days. I need Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Kamara, Kelsey Hill. I just need 2, hopefully 3 of them to go nuclear, and I think I have a chance. But it really depends on those old people. Hopefully Dak might keep performing. We'll see. How does the sportsbook feel about this one?
Yeah, Ted, you got your star Tyreek going Thursday night. Bed Bath & Bijan has that third B closing out the week on Monday. Right now, it says that you're projected to win 117 to 110, which is absolutely insane in my mind. I don't know if you saw the Harbaugh quote after week 1.
Scared me.
We did not bring Derrick Henry in to run the ball 30 times a game. He sounded very confident in saying that. Like, there's no way he runs anywhere near that.
I like hearing that.
I'm shocked by the projections. The sports book seems a little shocked by the projections. And they see Jack as the odds-on favorite to even win the league as of now. These are the live odds. They're not inclusive with everyone. Once we get I deleted the app, but the app's called Verse. It's a fantasy betting platform. Once we get that up and running on NFL.com, we're able to sync our lineup. We will be able to bet that live. But they see Jack as the odds-on favorite to win the league, and in this game right now, especially with the depth, crazy depth to go this far. I know it's just week 1, no overreactions, but Jack is going to get his first championship, and it will end Jack minus 5.5 as well, minus 120, money line minus 140. Trev, what do you think?
Wow, sounds like the sportsbook likes the 2 people who have never won to win the championship this year is the 2. That's pretty crazy, but with how many points Bed Bath & Bijan put up last week, I'm gonna have to go Bed Bath & Bijan minus that spread. But sorry, Ted, I think Jack, with putting up all those points and then still having to figure out his best lineup, I think he's just going to continue to put up a lot of points. Like we talked about earlier, he had Raheem Mostert in that flex position. Looks like he's taking him out with him only getting a point. So he messed around with the lineup a little bit, still put up 30. So Cooper Kupp, I think his volume is going to be crazy. AR against the Packers, I think he's going to have another good week. So I'm liking Bed Bath & Bijan in this one. But like you said, Ted, you called it, I think, the David versus Goliath. I'm calling it the Battle of the Goliaths. Because
I'm Goliath. Hold on. Let me sit up.
Flex your muscle a little bit.
Both 1-0. The winner of this one is going to be 2-0. One of these teams, unlike the last matchup, one of these teams is going to be 2-0. So a huge advantage there to start out 2-0. Either you, Ted, or Bed Bath & Bijan starting out 2-0. That's going to be massive. So this is a matchup to keep an eye on. I think it's going to be a good one.
Does anyone have the Statman's notes on that? Starting 2-0, percentage of making the playoffs?
I think it's like 90%?
90%. This is a huge matchup.
90%, yeah.
Wow, 109% chance of making the playoffs. That's insane. Those are good odds. I wouldn't want to bet against those.
So it could be huge. Could be huge for you to start 2-0 there. Gold medal.
Our next matchup we've got, this is the Bud Light What's Trending match.
We got another sponsor.
Another sponsor. The Bud Light What's Trending match. I'm thinking these 2 teams this week is really going to decide whether they start trending away, up and down, or they start trending sort of towards the middle. We've got Kyle versus Kevin. Kevin needs to rely on his nuclear reactors, Josh Allen, Saquon. Thank you, Bud Light. Josh Allen, Saquon, they can't have a down week. He needs some guys to really rebound. Amon-Ra, he's got to bounce back. Needs Kittle to do something, but I think Kevin's team's looking good, needs the nuclear. And if I'm Kyle, I think he's looking in the mirror to last year just for how he needs his team to perform. As this year, he really needs Patrick Mahomes to step up. He needs Jahmyr Gibbs to step up. Hopefully, Jamar Chase with a week of practice is going to do something. But if I'm Kyle, I'm a little nervous. I'd be happy with Chris Olave. He's looking primed to go nuclear with David Carr.
Whoa!
Thank you, Trevor. But yeah, I think this week will be really telling for both of these teams as to how the rest of the season is going to go. A 2-0 and an 0-2 are potentially at stake here, which could really define the entire season for both of them. RJ, how does the sportsbook feel about this?
Yeah, after week 1, we see question marks on both sides of this matchup, really, specifically with Kevin's wide receivers, if they're able to come back, which, personally, you got to assume they will. I mean, they're not the type of Amon-Ra. He's not going to go low again. He'll at least get 12 of 14, respectable amount. And then similar for Kyle, the whole Bengals offense, Jamar Chase, it just didn't look good. Jahmyr Gibbs, I saw David Montgomery's backfield. He carried the backfield. Sorry, I didn't watch all of the game or much of the game at all.
No, he had a lot of carries.
That overtime drive.
David Montgomery had more,
David
right?
Montgomery had,
That overtime drive, David Montgomery was running hard.
Was he the only one running? Like, Jahmyr Gibbs was coming in as like the backup. You really do not want to see that, especially picking him at the 1-2 turn, right? Because Kyle had 8. Did Kyle have 8? Yeah. That's definitely not what you want to see out of that type of player. And he got Chase and Gibbs. Those were his 2 1-2s. Yeah.
That's a rough.
You don't want to have those question marks. But I'm right there with him. So you're going to have to deal with them. What else do I got? The sportsbook does think Kevin's team will, continue getting another win after this one, and does expect Amon-Ra to bounce back well. It has Kevin at -5.5 and Kevin at money line -140. Trev, what do you think?
What was the spread on that one?
-5.5, Kevin.
-5.5. I'm going to ride with the favorites this week so far. I think put it Allen my butt. What is it?
Put it all in my butt. Allen my butt.
Allen my Butker comes away with the win on this one, and I'll take that -5.5 points. Like I said, I think Kevin's team is a wagon, so I think he'll cover that spread, no problem. I'm calling this one the Mahomes versus Allen or Chiefs versus Bills matchup with the little Dolphins sprinkle. We've got a whole lot of Bills, Chiefs, Dolphins players in this one, headlining the matchup of Mahomes versus Allen. James Cook for Kyle, so that's going to be huge to see if the Bills get into the red zone on Thursday night. Who's going to get those rushing touchdowns? Will it be Josh Allen? Will it be James Cook? That's going to be massive. We got Pacheco. So this is interesting.
Yeah.
Chiefs quarterback, Kevin. Chiefs running back, Kevin. Bills quarterback, Kyle. Bills running back. So the rushing touchdowns versus passing touchdowns in those 2 games for the Chiefs and the Bills is going to be huge. Bills are starting off on Thursday night where they're playing the Dolphins. We also see some Dolphins players on here with Jalen Waddle and Jason Sanders. So a lot of big-time good teams in this matchup, but I like Kevin to keep rolling. Put it out in my Butker. So
Trevor is just agreeing with the sportsbook.
It'll be interesting to see how many points Put It All in My Butker will need Monday night from Saquon, because that'll be the lone player in that Monday night matchup, if any at all. But him being that high scorer, I would say 3 touchdowns is a ceiling. Obviously, he could go for 6. He could go for a lot. But 3 is a lot. But it wouldn't be surprising. So that 32, he's well within that range. If Kyle somehow gets a massive lead going into Monday night, you still got to be sitting on edge a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be huge. That would be huge. Interesting to watch. Hopefully for the viewers, Riley Reed option has a little bit of a lead on Monday night, so we can all see what it comes down to is Saquon, because it could be anywhere from a 10-point lead to a 35-point lead where we don't know if Saquon's going to hit that. So
yeah,
very interesting.
There will sure be a lot of suspense. I don't think you can rule Kevin out with a 30-point deficit.
Mm-mm. Especially Saquon getting 32 in that first game.
Mm-hmm. And the Falcons kind of still suck. Who's surprised? Now looking at our last matchup, this is our Titleist Get in the Hole matchup.
wow,
That's what Chase and Trevor are going to be saying to each other, because they're really just fighting to push the other one down. Both teams could go up, could go down. Looking at Chase's team, he really needs that Stroud, Stephon Diggs stack to work. Nice.
whoa!
Getting the sponsors out here.
Sponsor sent you that, Trev, this morning?
They did.
Yeah,
Yep.
looks brand new.
Just came in the mail.
That's awesome.
But Chase, his wide receivers are looking good. I would be excited for how much C.J. Stroud was throwing to Stephon Diggs, how much he was a part of that offense. I know a lot of people worried there were a lot of mouths to feed, but his mouth is really taking the first bite. Trevor has to keep proving the haters wrong. He needs Mark Andrews, Amari Cooper, Garrett Wilson. They really need to shine. He needs A-Chain, Lamar, and Justin Jefferson to, remember who they are. Keep being big ballers like Trev has. But I think this one is the closest matchup out of all of them. RJ, how does the sportsbook feel?
Yeah, Trev, for you, the tone will be set Thursday night. It'll start with A-Chan. Like we already talked about the injury, if he plays, how much he plays. And we know he's been incredibly efficient while he's been playing. If he can go for 20, 24 points, like that will make you feel great. If he goes for 6, you'll be looking already not very good. But regardless, if you can keep that defense and kicker percentage up around 30, 34% production like you did last week, and they're scoring 40 points, you will be in every single week. And I remember one of my 2 championships, not to brag, Kevin and Jack, 2 championships that I have. One of them was I didn't have to stream defenses. I had
It's huge.
the Jags defense every single week. When you have that 1-1 defense and don't have to stream and can play them whenever, it is insane when they're scoring 10+ all the time. If you can get that, and if Trevor, you might have that, that would be huge. And to also to talk more about that might be a new way to tactic on how to build a fantasy football team. Why build your fantasy football team around running back, wide receiver? Why not build it around kicker and defense? Why aren't we drafting 4 kickers and 4 defenses and just filling in random people for the others? Why aren't we doing that more often? That might be something to look at. Innovation. That's what this league needs, and we might need to look at that.
The top 10 all-time scorers are all kickers.
Exactly.
Defenses have 11 players that can score a touchdown, when if you have just a running back, only one
That's
can.
just one.
Exactly.
It's so stupid.
It's something. Yeah, it's something to look at, and I'm already getting my draft strategy for next season, because this one, if I make the playoffs, I don't see what I'm looking. I'm preparing for next season. We're building around next season. Sportsbook, like you said, Ted, closest game of the week. Sportsbook thinks so as well. Pick 'em, -120 each.
Oh, Trev,
Well,
you taking
you
yourself?
give you a pick for your own game because you can only pick for yourself. But what's your
Right.
analysis of the matchup?
Well, obviously, I'm going with the marvelous Beaver Munchers. Now, Chase, I'm supporting your team here. I've got my Brock Purdy shirt on,
I'm gonna rock and roll all night.
but I'm gonna be
Purdy
the one
all day.
I'm gonna be the one brocking and rolling all night next weekend. I'm taking myself to win in that pick'em matchup. I think that what we said about the kickers and defenses is huge. I mean, next year for the draft, might as well go kicker, defense, quarterback in those first 3 rounds. We're just stuck in the old ways of running backs and receivers. So kickers and defenses matter. Justice for them. And like you said, with A-Chain playing Thursday night, that'll be huge. I'll be curious to see if he does play and what his workload will be like. I heard Coach McDaniel for the Dolphins talking about how they're just going to give the ball for their running backs to whoever's got the hot hand. So that's a little nerve-wracking to hear if Mostert or Jeff Wilson or Jalen Wright even is getting a lot of carries and running the ball well. That's just going to cut down on A-Chain's production. But I'm calling this matchup, the JK revenge matchup. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I have J.K. Dobbins in the starting lineup.
Ooh.
Chase just dropped him. He was in the free agents on waivers before the week even started. I picked up J.K. Dobbins, and I think I'm going to start him against his old team, Loudon Stroud.
Wait, Chase drafted J.K. Dobbins?
Drafted J.K. Dobbins.
Wow. He's going to be playing hard.
It's his old team, so we'll see how that goes.
When did he drop him? I was just looking at his stats. I saw he went off.
Dropped him on Thursday. This is also interesting. I was going to bring up. He dropped him on Thursday for Isaiah Likely. So we'll see if Chase plugs in Isaiah Likely to his lineup. We could have a Ravens tight end versus Ravens tight end in the tight end position.
Whoa.
Andrews and Likely. So he might start Likely. He's not in his lineup right now, but definitely had a better game than Evan Ingram did. So we could have a Ravens tight end versus a Ravens tight end there. But yeah, we'll see how A-Chain does Thursday. If he plays, J.K. Dobbins playing against his old team, something to keep out for. I'm taking Zamir White out. Don't want anything to do with him. Just hopefully he has good production, and then I can put him back into the lineup. But terrible pick on my part. But I've also got the Ravens defense in the starting lineup right now, and they're playing the Raiders, so I don't want Zamir White taking points away from them. So going to keep Zamir White out for right now. Play around with the lineup, see what the projections look like for the rest of this week. But should be a fun matchup. Hopefully I get the win.
As the head coach of the Lamarvelous Beaver Munchers, does it concern you that JK, even though he went off, still had less carries than Gus Edwards last week? Does that concern you, or have you seen anything from Harbaugh saying that JK will get more work, or no? I don't know.
I haven't seen anything saying that. I think from what I understand, he's still the backup, but hopefully his production with that 13.5 yards per carry will get him more carries, maybe even into the starting role. So that's what I'm hoping for. But really, I don't really have many other options at running back right now. So we'll play a backup running back, and hopefully that Harbaugh offense of running the ball will be enough to get him some sufficient carries.
I didn't watch much on the Commanders game, but I heard that Eckler looked really good out of the backfield receiving the ball, and they were expecting him to get the ball more as well. So yeah,
he is pretty much a receiver from week one. He had 2 carries rushing.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So he's pretty much a receiver. He had a good game receiving wise, 40 yards, I think, but 4 catches, 40 yards, I think it was. But he had 2 carries rushing for 10 yards. So 4 carries for 52 receiving yards were Eckler's stats. So.
Did they throw the ball most of the game, or did Brian Robinson take like 20 carries? Oh, Jesus. Jaden Daniels had 16 carries?
Yeah.
I watched the game. I didn't know he had that many.
Yeah. He was carrying a lot. Brian Robinson got a lot. So it doesn't look like Eckler is going to be much of a rushing threat.
Gary, what do you think about this matchup? What do you think about Lamarvillous Beaver Munchers? Oh, he full screened it for you. Lamarvillous Beaver Munchers versus Loudon Stroud. Who do you have?
It's a pick 'em.
The Munchers. Okay.
Let's go, Charity. Munch, munch, munch.
All right.
But another pick I hated was Amari Cooper. I hate Amari. So Jaden Reed is actually the number one receiver, it says, but we'll see how that plays out with the Love injury. So I don't know. Lots to think about.
Is Jaden Reed available in our league, or is he's owned? Oh, he's
Trevor drafted him.
Yeah. So
Jaden Reed, he looked whenever his ball, if they got the ball in his hands more often, I feel like he would score every single time. He looks unbelievable, but they just have a good amount of like decent weapons where they share it a lot.
Really, I didn't get to watch any of that game because I was at the Beavers game Friday night, so I didn't get to see what he looked like. But
you should watch the highlights, because if you just look at the highlights, you'll see every single time he touched the ball. It was similar to last year too. I think Jaden Reed is easily their best receiver, like way better than Christian Watson, way better than Romeo Dobbs. I love Jaden Reed, but
he might be someone I plug in at the flex, but
yeah.
I don't like Amari Cooper, but with that Love injury, I don't know if I want to play him with Malik Willis.
And yeah, that's true. And the way the way you saw Deshaun throw the football, that was ass. He had the worst completion percentage of anyone in the history of the NFL for 1 week for balls intended over 10 yards.
Yes.
I think he was 0 for 16, it said. Insane.
That is brutal.
Well, I think that about wraps up the week 2 preview. And unless you guys have anything else, which I don't think you do, I think that's about it for the pod.
If everybody could send me their address, I might have a little goodie to send. So
whoa, the commissioner
if you're
doing something?
Listening to this, send me your address.
Wow. So everyone will except
for Jack.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to text him individually, but
Trevor's giving everyone a $20 DoorDash gift card plus 6 months of Dash Pass.
6 months of Dash.
So make sure you send Trevor your address.
This is completely off the grid. We can even take this off of the podcast. But Dash Pass is such a scam. I had like 2 free months of Dash Pass, and it's bullshit. It didn't take away any money. I got a better deal on Uber Eats than Dash Pass because we only dash Panda because Panda's a little far away. That's the only place that we'll eat at that's a little far away. But I digress.
But wow, Trevor, I hope people will send their addresses to you, except for Jack because he won't because he doesn't listen to this.
We'll see who listens all the way through.
But no, I'm excited for this season. I think there's going to be a lot of overreactions in this pod. We'll listen to it. 14 weeks from now, we'll say, wow, I can't believe they were so high on Kevin after his whole team got killed in a plane crash. Wow. So we'll watch something like that.
Don't say that. You sold your soul to the fantasy gods. You're going to make that happen. I know you will.
I just sent you a reverse jinx text. Who are you playing this week, RJ? Monty?
Yep.
I went to Monty after the Thursday night game. No matter what happens, just congratulate RJ on a win. I'm sure he'll be looking good. It works, I'll tell you.
Neither of us have a Thursday night player.
After the first Sunday game.
First kickoff.
Yeah, the
first kickoff.
What do you guys
think? Reverse jinxes work.
What do you guys think about the new kickoff?
I kind of liked it. And I didn't think I would, but I hate I think they need to make it that there is a way you can do an onside kick surprising.
Yeah.
But I liked the more returns, and I saw the data on it, like average start position. There were more returns. It was very similar, but more contact, but less like head-on stuff. I liked it.
We had a return for a touchdown on Teddy's bench.
DJ Dallas had a return for the Arizona Cardinals.
Touchdown?
Yeah, that's why I said.
Wait, so were there two? I saw the Bears one.
Yeah, the Cardinals had one because that's why I said I wish I started DJ Dallas. And I did look to make sure on the stats it said miscellaneous 1 touchdown for his.
Whoa!
There we go.
But I think that about wraps it up for this week.
Mhm.
I think it's looking to be a great season. And as always, thanks for listening to the Zionsville Football Fantasy Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure to get those bets in before the Thursday night game. Be sure to follow us on socials at ZFFFL FFPOD on all major platforms. And I want to thank you personally. Thanks for watching, listening, and as always,
Fuck
you, Trevor. Thanks, everyone, and thank you, StreamYard. I hope this actually works because I don't know if it will. We'll see you next time.